Hey guys, so today I just want to real quickly run you through how to create a fill mat overlay in Adobe Premiere Pro. So let's get into it. So what you're going to want to do first is to create a color mat. So go into your project bin, right click and go to new item and then select color mat. This will just open this new color mat window. And what you're going to want to do is create the color mat resolution to be double the resolution of your sequence. The reason why we're doing this is because later in the process, we're going to scale the color mat down. And if we did not make the color mat bigger than the resolution of your sequence, then you won't be able to properly scale that clip down. We have a 4K timeline here. So what we're going to want to do is double that. So 3840, that's 7680, and then the height will be 4320. Press OK and that will open up this color picker window. We just want a black film mat, and then you'll be able to just rename your color mat here. I'm just going to name this film mat overlay. So once the color mat has been created, you then select that from your project bin and just drag it over your footage in your sequence here. So you'll notice this is just a black solid. So what we're going to want to do is actually create the shape of the film mat now. What you're going to want to do is turn on your safe margins. To do this, if it's not in your little toolbar here, then what you can do is press this plus icon, and this will open up the button editor. From here, you should be able to see the safe margins button here. You just drag that into your toolbar, press OK, and now you can toggle that on and off. We just need points of reference to make the shape of our film mat. So now if you go over to your effect controls and under opacity, select the free draw tool. So from there, you're just gonna trace around each corner of the outer safe margin, and this will create the rectangle that we're gonna use as the film mat. So to make sure this film mat is shaped correctly, what I like to do is just punch in here on my playback window, usually around 400%, and press H on my keyboard to grab the hand tool. I will just drag over to each corner, select V to go back to my draw tool, and I'm just gonna make the first point here exactly in this corner. Once that's created, I'll select H on my keyboard again, come over to this corner, and then make another point there. Go down to the bottom right corner, create another point, go back here to the fourth corner, make another point, and then we're just gonna go back up to the first corner where we started and finish this rectangle off by connecting those there. And then if you zoom back out, you'll notice that you have this rectangle in your timeline. What we're going to want to do is invert that mask. So over here, just check the inverted box and this will create this box. If you toggle the safe margins off, you've got this rectangle now. In order to achieve the rounded corner look that we're going for on our film mat, what you're going to want to do is go back over to the effect controls panel, and under your mask settings here, and you're just going to increase your mask expansion, and you'll notice this will round out the corners. So you'll see the more you drag it, the rounder the corners of your mask will appear. I usually like this set to around 65, but you can set this to whatever you would like depending on the look that you're going for. All right, so I've actually already finished filming this tutorial. I'm in the middle of the edit right now, and after watching it back, I realized that the corners don't look as round as they normally do. I usually like it more so around 100, not 65. But anyways, hope that cleared that up, and we'll get back into the tutorial now. And you'll notice this is rounded out the corners here, but the edges on the top and bottom are way thinner than the edges on the right and left side of our mask. This is a cool look as well, but for me, I like the edges to be roughly around the same width. So going back to when we created this color mat, why we set the resolution of the color mat to double the resolution of our sequence here is so you can scale down if you want, depending on the size that you want this. If you want to scale it up, you can do that. If you want to scale it down to get a thicker edge on that film mat, you can do that as well. I personally like the thickness of the edge when the scale is just set to 100, but I do want to make the edges on the right and left side of the frame thinner. So what I'm going to do is go up to the motion controls here and uncheck uniform scale. This will just allow me to adjust the width of this color mat without adjusting the height. So from here, I'm just going to want to adjust the scale scale width until I'm happy. I think around 105 looks pretty even with the top and bottom thickness of that film mat. For me, this is the look I'm going for, so I'll leave that at 105. So at this point, we do have a film mat that you can use if you'd like. However, I'd like to take it a step further and just roughen the edges to add more character to it and just stylize the look of this mask. Before we do anything further here, what we're going to want to do is just right click and nest this mask. Film mat overlay, just press OK. Now what we're going to want to do is go over to our effects panel and search for the effect roughen edges and drag that onto our film mat. So what we're going to want to do is set the edge type to spiky, keep the border at 8, set the edge sharpness to 0.5, and keep the fractal influence at 1, and then adjust the scale to around 252 is where I usually like it. Set the stretch width or height to 2.1, offset turbulence to 199, and keep the second property at 0, complexity to 10, and then the evolution to 307. Again, you can adjust these properties to your liking to achieve the look you're going for, but if we zoom in and look at the edges here, I'm happy with that. It just gives it a rougher, more stylized look to this film mat. Rather than having to revisit this process every single time you want to use this effect, you can just export that frame off Premiere Pro as a PNG and then just drag that into your project bin on any project or any video that you're working on. I'll show you how to do that real quickly. What you're going to want to do is just remove any footage that's under that film mat so it's a transparent background here, and you're just going to want to go over to this export frame button. Again, if you don't have that there in your toolbar, press the plus icon, find it, drag it into your toolbar, and then press OK. But select export frame. So just name this file whatever you'd like and make sure the format is set to PNG so the background's transparent so you don't have to key anything out. From there, just choose the path that you want to save your film mat to on your computer and press OK. This should export it. And if we just delete this film mat overlay from our sequence here, drag our clip back, drag that into your project bin, and then bring that into your sequence, and now you can adjust the length of this, make it as long as you'd like. So that's pretty much just how you create this film mat overlay in Premiere Pro. I've created a film mat collection with 25 plus unique film mat overlays, and each overlay comes in 16:9, 9:16, 2.39:1, 2:1, as well as 4:3, so that you can use these film mats on any project that you're working on, no matter the aspect ratio. If that's something you're interested in, you can find those at shopcreatorlab.com. If you do pick one of my digital assets up, feel free to reach out, DM me, send me a screenshot of your order. I really appreciate your guys' support. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Peace out.